change. Another change, and I hate to do this because I promised myself I wouldn't do it, but maybe I should, and that's if we compare this phone to the iPhone, and yeah, I know people are tired of iPhone comparisons, but people are used to that phone, right? And that's the benchmark that people are always making in comparison to. If you're using this phone and you're not really used to a number of different things, just say web browsing, one thing that people notice is they say, well, the browser that's in Android is a little bit slow. It's not as fast as Safari. But if you're worried about that, another browser that actually works just as well and is a little bit faster at rendering pages is the Dolphin browser. And that's the one I use as my stock browser. And the sweet thing about Android is that you can change your default browser because you're not restricted into using Safari for everything, which is kind of nice. But here's the thing, and I'm not going to go into this much just because it's been reviewed before, but the Dolphin and the Android browser are slower because when you're viewing a page that's bigger, not formatted to fit the screen, and you zoom in, it reformats the screen to actually fit the text. So if you're not sure what I mean, maybe I'll just quickly show this as an example. Let me just go to, I don't know, bookmark here. There we go. It's hard to reach when you're filming. Okay, so I'm going to go to, say, News 1130. So News 1130. So go click the latest thing that was just posted. Okay, News 1130. So you click down here, and if you look, well, let's look at something that actually doesn't fit. Okay, maybe this isn't the best example page, but we'll make do with it. Okay, so just say I zoom in. Do you see that? How it's reformatted that chunk of text to fit. So you don't have to go back and forth looking at this, trying to read the damn thing. So if I zoom in even more, it takes a little bit longer to actually load the page because it's having to resize it. See how it takes a little bit of time for it to render? But the nice thing is, it actually makes things easier to read on the web, but it comes at a price, and the price is the rendering speed is a little bit slower. So if you haven't used an Android phone before, that is something that you may not be used to, but I think it's a great advantage in terms of if you're using the phone on a regular basis. The other thing that you're not going to have on this phone is voice search. So if you have voice search, you don't have voice search on this phone, but you can install it. So if you need to look for it, just go to Howard's forum, see if you can find a post on, or even Android forums, I'm posting installing voice search onto the Milestone. It's really easy. It's just an APK file you just got to install. So if I wanted to search, I hit search, and boom, you can see I have the microphone there, and I'm going to search Panagopoulos pizza. So Panago, there you go. You can see Panago. So it works pretty good. I don't know why I said Panagopoulos. It hasn't been that forever, but that's just an example in terms of maybe some things that you want to include into the phone. Other things would be like Twitter messages. I use Seismic for Twitter. That's a great app. I like it because it's really clean, easy to use. It looks similar to a lot of the Twitter apps that are available on the iPhone. And I like it in terms of how much easier it is to use. I don't really like TwitDroid Pro. I know a lot of people use it, but that's my favorite one. Facebook app is crap compared to the iPhone one, and that's Facebook's fault. Write a better app, but for now, unless you're a Facebook freak, you can get away with just using it. There is no chat on it though. Droid Live is a wicked app. It's probably my most favorite app, and I'll just launch it here. So if on Wi-Fi, you can stream your music. So if I go to, say, I don't know, top hits here, and I click on top hits, it'll just find something here. So it'll play like live music on your phone, and it's a great little app to use. The music player is a little bit hokey. I mean, when you click on artists, I don't really have a lot of music in here. It's got one song in here. It's kind of bad in terms of how it looks, but that's okay. It's not that bad, and there's other apps you could use in place of that. The camera, I'll get into the camera and media a little bit later. The camera is a little bit slow. It's focusing is a bit of a problem. I'm hoping with a firmware update that it will fix this, but it's not too bad. The video camera, on the other hand, is actually really, really good. And then I've just installed some other apps. Other than that, the phone, in terms of battery life, I've used it for 2 days now. Better than the iPhone 3GS. And I like the advantage of being able to put anything I want on this phone, not have to use iTunes. And yes, they do include a 16 gigabyte micro SD card, which is really nice. And the final thing, for all you HTC lovers, look, it has a regular micro USB slot in here. That's so much nicer. If you look at the HTC ones, it has that stupid side where you have to use the HTC cable, and you can't use a regular one here. Like the advantage is that if I want to plug this in, and I like charging it in the car, you can use any USB cable for that. You don't have to buy the stupid HTC one. So thank you, Motorola, for doing that, and thank you for putting in that 3.5mm jack. So that's a nice feature. Other than that, there's probably other things I want to talk about on this phone, but this video is long enough, and I'll leave it at that. In the future, I'd like to talk about texting, and I'll have a different setup for filming so you can actually see me texting on this to see whether or not this phone is for you, and also some multimedia things that I've done with this phone, which I'm actually really happy with so far. So should you buy this phone? Depends. If you like tweaking phones, if you like using phones, and you want a phone that has a really beautiful display and has a physical keyboard, I don't really think you're going to find a better phone than the Motorola Milestone. If you don't need the keyboard, there are other options out there. Nexus 1 would probably be another better option, just in terms of it having a Snapdragon processor and a few other additional features that the Milestone doesn't have. But this phone is, I would say, one of my favorite phones I've ever had, and I've had quite a few different phones. So highly recommend this phone. Try it out maybe at a store, see if it's for you before you give it a go. But I'm happy I bought this phone. So thanks for watching, and there'll be some more videos coming up pretty soon that will look at some different features for the Milestone. Have a good one.